Hi, I'm Cecilia Shutters with the U.S. Green Building Council here at Greenbuild, New Orleans, with Mayor Cownie of Des Moines, Iowa. Mayor, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, you bet. This is an exciting event.
Let's start by talking about what Des Moines is doing in terms of resiliency and your path to sustainable resiliency.
Good question. I will tell you that it hasn't been an easy path, because when we started 10 years ago, I was sort of a fringe kind of a mayor, a green tree hugging kind of guy, and you have a whole bunch of staff that has, and businesses that have been doing the same thing they've been doing for the last 20, 30, 40 years, and to start inserting green ideas into how we build and what it looks like. And I had a chance to meet a lot of the USGBC folks who came to Des Moines, and I was an easy convert because I had worked on regional planning before, chairing a planning and zoning commission. So we had the discussion, but then when you step into a leadership role to try to get there, sometimes it's tough. So we had a lot of people, looking at me as sort of a fringe kind of a guy. While I was the elected head, it was everything from neighbors to, you need to fix my sewer, you don't need to talk to me about how to be a green, sustainable, talk to me about food and trees and green infrastructure and permeable pavement and all the things that are important to us today that are beginning to resonate. But as time went along, we found that the community really was engaged on it. That they, and much to the surprise, I think, of some of the other elected officials and staff. So it was a struggle to get there, and I will also tell you that when we started 10 years ago, we had USGBC and ICLEI together to try to talk about sustainability with U.S. Conference of Mayors. There were 6 of us in the room, and there was 400 people at the meeting, and but that caught fire. Mayor Greg Nichols of Seattle at the time helped us lead the sign-up. We had over 1,060 mayors sign on to a mayor's climate action protocol that looked a little like Kyoto. And so we are moving it forward, but now you have to move from recognition of the plan into action. What is it you're doing in your community? What are we doing in the states? What are we doing in the federal government? And what are we doing internationally? So it's been a struggle. It's been really sort of a crusade, not only by myself, but by everybody else that's in there. And to come to an event like this, where we're seeing so many young people engaged, as well as those of us more mature folks. And contrast that with a couple of the events I did last week in Des Moines, where everybody there, we had grandmas to save the planet, and we had a whole bunch of folks where the average age was probably mid-60s. And to come here to see such a wide spectrum of folks, it gives us possibilities that the younger generation is going to take over and really make things happen.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about what specifically Des Moines is doing in terms of resiliency and sustainability. You all have, it's not just about government there and your decisions, but also the work that you're doing in the private sector and partnering with the private sector to make Des Moines more resilient and sustainable.
Okay, so we've kind of gone down 2 different paths. We have one where we operate in our own departments, in our own operations, and to lead by example, if you will. So we have a number of LEED certified buildings, LEED Silver, LEED Gold, LEED Platinum buildings in our own organization. So up around 10 of them now. But that's to show the general public that we're not going to ask them to do something we're not willing to do ourselves.
Right.
We also have found ways to partner with our private sector, not only through education and sort of an aspiration to do the right thing, but also using some of our financial tools, if you will, to incent folks to think about stuff a little differently. It used to be cities used to just incent people to do things in their towns just to create jobs. And we want to certainly create jobs, but we also want them to do it in sort of a 21st century way. So what does your business look like? What is the place where you house your operations? In Des Moines, insurance financial processing is huge. So we've worked with a number of insurance companies to create, if you will, their new headquarters in a sustainable way. And we've used tax increment financing as a tool to say, we'll help you do this and invest this kind of money if you'll build to this standard. Not just create jobs, we'll give you a little money to do that, but we'll help you a lot more if you'll work with us and think about doing that. And one of our insurance companies actually took up that charge and that challenge, and at the time of their completion of the building, it's probably not true today, but they were the world's largest single occupant, single owner, LEED Platinum building in the world.
Wow.
And so we've used that, and they've sort of been the standard now. This is what an office should look like, should be a healthy place. They serve healthy food, they capture rainwater, they've got exercise, they've got natural lighting, and all kinds of new inspirational ideas on what a 21st century office should look like. And I think that it sort of set the standard for Des Moines, and now we're seeing lots of other businesses want to meet that challenge and say, hey, we can do that too. So it's been exciting to do it. We've used our tools to partner with private sector to do things, not only there, but also in the residential sector. So we've got a lot of green building going on there as well.
That's great. So so if we take it outside of Des Moines a little bit, and you speak about regional thinking, can you talk to us about what that means and the work that you all are doing in your planning around regional planning for sustainability?
So we've worked through the regional sustainability planning grants. Now, it could be a local sustainability planning, but what we did is we set it regionally. And because we thought that's how we function competitively in the world. It's globally, it's Des Moines region with our products, with our services, with our insights versus what's going on elsewhere. And so we decided that we would do a regional plan. We have 17 suburbs, 4 counties that are involved in it. It's called the Tomorrow Plan. We talked about transportation, we talked about how we plan cities for the future, how we focus on corridors and nodes and densify certain areas to accommodate public transportation so everybody doesn't have to take a single occupant vehicle here or there, getting more walking paths and trails, not only to connect people from where they live to where they work, but also for public health and those kinds of things, looking at regionally, what do we do about food and supporting local organic gardens and all those kinds of things, and how we think about it regionally. And I will tell you, it's a bit of a challenge from time because you have an urban set that is in Des Moines, you have a suburban set that is kind of come about over the last 30 or 40 years that had that sort of cul-de-sac mindset. Mm-hmm. Let's put one house per acre out there and have our mansions out in the hinterlands, but have to take a single occupant vehicle to get here, and try to take all those thought processes with the rural folks as well and say, what are we going to do about Iowa? What about our future? What's the best thing not only for today, but for our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids and all future generations, so that Iowa is still as an attractive place 100 years from now as it is today.
Great. Well, I really appreciate your perspective and your expertise, and thank you so much for joining us here at Greenbuild in New Orleans.
Oh, you bet. This is exciting, and keep it up. Maybe we'll bring it to Des Moines.
Yes, absolutely.